여러분들은 이제
You have just met your means to
애터미라는
success,
도구를
Atomy.
만나신 겁니다. 이 도구를
This tool was
왜
given to you
만났냐면은 여러분들이
so that
성공하기
you may
위해서
obtain
애터미라는
success.
도구를 만나신 겁니다. 여러분들이 성공을 하지
If you're not
못한다고
able to
하면은
obtain
애터미라는
success through
도구는
this,
어떻게 보면은
then it is a meaningless tool. If you just want to be a consumer and say, I just want to buy quality products at a low price, you'll have maybe a little to gain. You'll save a little on your expenses and the satisfaction that a quality product can give you. If you're satisfied with just being a consumer, Atomy won't be your tool to succeed in your life. There is a requirement for success. There is a requirement for success. You must have the determination to succeed. Many people say, who doesn't want to be successful? If you are determined to succeed, this means that you've set the goal to succeed. You have to work to make the life that you are living now become the life that you want. You must do the work that needs to be done. If your life stays the same, have you done the work or not? You haven't. Then it's your job to make the life that you're living now become the life that you want to be living. This is the work that needs to be done. Then how do you do that? You need to think about the life that you want to be living. You need to have a detailed goal of the life that you want to be living. That way you're able to check what's been done and what still needs to be done. But most people don't set a goal and don't do the work that is needed to make it happen. Instead, they only think about how nice it would be to be living the life that they want to live. For example, when asked, how much do you want to make? Most people say the more the better. What kind of a house do you want to be living in? They say a nice house or a big house. If this is your goal, then you will never reach it. The biggest reason that you are not successful right now is that you don't even give a thought about becoming successful in your life. The second reason is that you don't have the details on how you are going to get this done. So today I'm going to talk about the method for success, the law of success. The originator of this law of success is the famous Steel King, Andrew Carnegie. He was born into a poor family, but became a tremendously successful man. He wondered if he was ever born into a poor family again, would he again be as successful as he was now? He became certain that no matter what, he would definitely be as successful as he was now. However, he wondered why so many people were unsuccessful in their lives. According to a statistic, after birth, people will have completed their education by age 30. From ages 30 to 60, people work hard to make a living. And from ages 60 to 90, people live out their retirement. So how long is this life after retirement? It's 30 years. After 30 years of studying hard, By the time you are 60 years old, only 1% of people will have a successful, wealthy life. 4% of people are able to take care of their bills, although not enough to be wealthy, but enough to have a decent life. 15% of people die before they reach 60 years of age. 10% of people will be living day to day. The remaining 70% of the people are going to face retirement in poverty. This means that 95% of people were failures in life.
And only 5% of people become successful, and only 1 out of 100 people have become very truly successful. After 30 years of studying and 30 years of hard work, and this is what you get, then if your life ended at 60, there would be nothing else to consider. However, the problem is life after retirement. If you face retirement with no money or job, this becomes a tremendous problem. What are some things that you can experience after you get older? Disease. You have no money and you are not healthy, and you have to spend long many years, and you might live until you become 120 years old. Then you have to overcome those problems for 60 years. This is the reason why we have to work. If your life at this present does not prepare you for retirement, even if you are working and making a living at the present, your life would be a failure at the end. It is a bigger problem if there is no work available right now, on top of not being prepared for retirement. If an aging parent is ill, he's not the only one who's suffering. The whole family suffers. Arguments arise among the children: who's going to take care of the aging parent, how are the medical bills going to be paid, the living expenses. Siblings argue with each other, and many other problems arise. The thing that parents want most is not to be a burden on their children. They wish they are not going to be a big burden on their children. When we set goals for life, the way we should plan it shouldn't simply be about not burdening our children, but rather how we can help out our children financially. What is the reason for this gloomy outlook? Despite all those years of hard work and hard study, why is it? And Carnegie discovered the reason for this. The reason for this was that people didn't know how to become successful. They didn't know the law of success. Carnegie knew about it, so he was certain that if people only knew and applied this law in their lives, they would achieve success. Since he wanted to help others by sharing the law of success, Carnegie puts Napoleon Hill up to the task of putting together this information over a period of 20 years. The same goes for the law of farming. A farmer must follow the laws of nature in order to have a successful harvest. What is the first thing that a farmer does on a farm? Does he purchase the farmland first? Some say they prepares the seed first or gets the farming equipment. Others say he has to get the funds to buy the equipment and they need to hire help first. However, the first thing a farmer would do is decide how much of what is going to be harvested. So after the goal to harvest a certain crop is set in his head first, all the things that need to be done will be planned. We don't apply this too much in our lives, but it is universally applied in managing a country or a company. Generally, this is learned about an objective management process and is known as MBO. MBO is viewed as objective management, but it's just managing for the sake of objectives. In other words, goals are set for the purpose of management. This means that you set a goal and then manage everything in accordance to it. So you must first set a goal in your head. In order to set a life goal, you must first know your needs, what you want and what you need in your life. And this is not a simple matter, rather it's very complicated. Just because you have a lot of money doesn't mean that you have succeeded in your life. What other things that you need to achieve? It's complicated because humans are made to be complicated beings. So what makes a human being? A human being has flesh. We can see the flesh, right? We have flesh. But is that it, just flesh? No, there's also the spirit and the soul. We say spirit and soul together, but they are actually different. Soul and spirit, right? Different in English as well. You are surrounded by your environment. You are not living by yourself in this world. And the flesh, we have the flesh. Your body is like a house that your spirit and the soul is living in. There are things that the flesh, the spirit, the soul, and the environment surrounding have needs. Only when all these things are satisfied and achieved can you say that you've had a successful life. Our flesh has the desire to be healthy, to have a long life, and to live in prosperity. So the flesh wants to live well. It's about to live well. Our soul has the desire to live peacefully. This is an emotional aspect, and it also has the desire to learn. It wants to learn and know about the unknown world. For our environment, we have the desire to do good for the environment, the desire to contribute to the environment. So for our lives to be complete, we must live a life where all these four areas are satisfied. However, most people are leaning excessively to only one side. If a person pursues only prosperity, they ruin their health doing this, and some even do harm to others in the process. Instead of pursuing peace, some people become hateful or greedy when pursuing prosperity. If you simply pursue your own prosperity, instead of contributing to the country, society, or mankind in the process, you aren't actually achieving your goals. Instead, you are ruining them. Again, the goal of a balanced life, where all four of these areas are equally satisfied, must be in your head. The final goal we want to achieve on this farm, called life, must be a balanced life. In the spring, the farmer will first have the 10 bags of rice in his head. After that, the farmer would harvest it in the fall to store it in the a warehouse. So before it can go into the warehouse barn, it must be in your head first. Likewise, in order for you to have a successful life, the vision of your successful self must first be in your head. We need to do it right now. That way, this can be actualized in the future. If your successful life is not visualized in your head, that life will not be realized even after another 3 to 5 years. If you are not satisfied with your life, those of you who are here are the ones who want to change your life because the road you are on is heading to a disaster, and you need to change the direction. Then the question is, why are you still on the road to failure? That's because 3 or 5 years ago, you didn't clearly have a picture of what a successful person should be visualized in your head. The image must be clearly visualized in your head. Let's say you go to see the realtor to buy a house. What kind of house do you want? He would ask. A nice big house. You would answer, do you think this person will buy a house? No. There's no one that would buy a house this way. You go to buy a car. What kind of a car do you want? A good car. This person is not really interested in buying a car. If you really wanted to buy a car, you will know in detail the model, the color, the horsepower, and the affordable price range. So you have to decide what exactly you want in details. You have to live well for your loved ones, and our children today lack energy. They have no spirit or backbone. When we were little, we esteemed to be something great. If you say you want to be the president or something great now, your friends will think you're crazy. They don't have dreams. Most of them don't think about these things. Instead, they live day to day, trying to get a good paying job that pays around $3,000 to $7,000. That's all that they are looking for. Please don't try to get jobs that pay around $3,000 to $7,000. This is the road to failure. Will you be a successful person if you earn around $3,000 to $7,000 after paying for your children's education? Is there anything left for your retirement? No. By the time you are 60 or 70, you have nothing. Don't try to get these jobs. This is where all the smart and know-it-alls are. Don't go there. Instead, you have to go to a place where you earn about $30K to $70K. Since not many people pursue it, there are a lot of these jobs. Atomy has so many jobs in that range, right? You need to be successful because you have people you love. You must become successful. Be successful for your children, for our parents, really, and they really want you to become successful. We must visualize this life of living well in our heads, almost like a movie that's playing in your mind. You must have a scenario in order to have a movie. The writer for the scenario of this movie will be you. The main actor or actress is you as well, you yourself. And the director and producer of this movie is you. This movie must be playing in your head. So and so's life scenario. This was made so that anyone can use and write down. So all you need to do is to, fill in the blanks. It looks like this. You have these items here. We have the flesh, spirit, and the soul. And the environment, lastly. The flesh wants to live well. For the spirit, we need to love others. And for the soul, we want to learn. new things. And for the environment, we want to contribute to the society and the environment as well. So like donating and doing some social services, and the contribution can be made when by donating money when you are not earning a lot of money. So this is very important. It is very difficult to donate your money if you don't really work really hard. And Atomy also plans to help others in a very systematic way. We will try to help others in a very efficient manner. This kind of life is called a balanced life. So of these four items, at least one of them will be used in the circle. Then to live well, you need to be healthy, right? To live in prosperity, you need clothes, food, and shelter. We have housing problems, and you need a car. Next is love. Love for your parents to learn, and your children's education to contribute to community service, social service. And we have those skills as well. And you can write down your health condition right now from 0 to 10 scores. After comparing your current home to the home you want, what number do you think it would be? 3 points? Okay, 3 points. This will be different. How about your car? What kind of car do you want to ride? A Mercedes, okay. What do you drive right now? A sedan, okay, give yourself 5 points. But it would depend how old your sedan is, right? If it's 10 years old, then it's worth only about $3,000 to $4,000. So next is your love for your parents, and only give your heart and children. No social service, 1 point. Cash, 0. Travel, no trouble. So when you connect the dots together, then you get the wheel of life. So is your life spinning well right now? No. For it to spin well, these numbers must all be 10. If you connect all the 10s, you get a large round wheel of life. Then what needs to be done to get the number 10? For example, housing is 3 points. For example, let's say you live in a very small house. What about the house that you want to live in? Which house? What kind of house? Okay, it's a $700K house. You've gone from a $100K lease to $700K owned by yourself, and 5 different rooms. Anyway, you need to visualize this in your head. If you do this, it will become a 10 points, right? What about your car? What do you want to have? The Mercedes, how much does it cost? $120,000. What do you drive right now? What? You don't even have a license, driver's license? For your love for your parents, it could be to your mother. How much do you give her at the present? Are you still getting money from your mother? How much do you give her? $200. Do you think she will live well with $200? If you think you've done your filial duty because you give her $200 to $300, then that's a mistake. You need to give more, like $3,000 for the living expenses. Why? Because they have medical bills and they need caretakers. They also might need a housekeeper. That means they need about $3,000 to be able to live well. You have to try your best to help them fulfill all the things that they want to do. So how long will it take you to save up $700K? How long will it take in 30 years? How many years later? You have to do it in less than 5 years. Then, in order for you to save $700K in 5 years, how much needs to be saved every year? about $140K, right? That means you have to save a little over $10K a month. You have to save $10K a month for your house. That's what you need to save in order to live in a $700K house. So making only $3K to $7K a month will make this impossible to do. This should not be your goal. Add another zero at your goal. You need to make at least $30K to $50K to live decently. That way you will be able to give your mother more money. You need to educate your children and do community service. Wouldn't you need at least $500K in cash? How do you live with less than that money? There are many who worry about 30 months of their future and they don't really set any goal. They are worried and they are nervous. But you need to have enough cash, enough to live for about 3 months without any job, any income. If I say that and you would say, I haven't earned about $5,000 a month so far, but how come can I earn about $50K a month? Here's the first one. You would feel that earning more money would harder than earning less. But actually, it's easier to make big money.
If three people make $1,000 a month and $10K a month and $100 million a month, who would have the hardest time earning their money? Yeah, that's right. The person who makes the smallest has the hardest time. The person making $100K should work 100 times harder than the one earning $1,000. However, that's not so. Are there people who make $100K a month? Yes, there are. Some people make even more than that. The people who make the big money say money is everywhere. Even some say, I make money for fun. Yeah, the person who earns the least has a harder time making what he makes. Then should you make little money or a lot of money? You have to make a lot. It's easier to do. We'll look at what the others wrote before. Here are the key points to keep in mind. Don't forget this. First, be specific. Everybody say this together. Be specific. Second, you need to write in the costs. Everybody costs. Third, you need to set a time limit. Everybody say time limit. These three things must be done. For example, if you are buying a car, you will indicate the model and how much it costs. You also need a time limit. Don't write in less than 5 years. That's what you will say next year, and the year after that, you will say the same thing even after 5 years. You're not keeping your promise, and if possible, you need to have a clear and concrete plan in your head. The thoughts in our head are very important. You need to have concrete plans and carry them out no matter what. But some say, oh, but I like having an ordinary life. This is the kind of a person that would shoot an arrow, run after it, draw the target where the arrow ended to say that it hit. How foolish, right? An ordinary life wasn't the life goal in the beginning, but since that's where he found himself, he draws a target and say, I've hit my target, it was my goal all along. Don't live an ordinary life. Be a noble and wealthy person. Just don't forget to help the people living ordinary lives. Don't ignore them or become their enemies, but help them and embrace them. Extend your kindness to them. So draw the target first. I want to be wealthy. I want to make $50K a month. Then shoot the arrow. You will sometimes miss, but eventually you'll finally hit the target. You need to first have a target, right? In our heads, the movie of the life that we want to have should be playing clearly. You have to do this every time you come here each month. So in your head, it should be something like, I want to live a life where I drive a Mercedes and live in the 700K dollars house, a life where I can help my relatives and friends, and where I'm able to help my parents. If you help your sibling buy a house, how happy would your parents feel? There are some siblings who don't talk to each other. This happens when one of them borrows some money and haven't paid it back. Instead, ask them if they are doing okay and give some money to the one who hasn't paid it back. Tell them not to worry about paying back anything, then there would be no reason for the bad relationship. Wouldn't it be nice to have love and harmony among yourselves? The picture of you leading such a life where you are respected by your relatives and friends, and being thanked for all your help when they were in need, that is the life that should be clearly visualized in your head. If you do this, your facial expression and the way you speak will be changed. You should say, come see me quick, something great happened to me. I'm going to tell you how you can make 50K dollars. I found this company and I want you to do this together with me. If you don't, I'm calling Jenny. This is how your attitude should be. Only then will people listen to what you are saying. You have to say to yourself, I'm going to make 50K dollars a month. I will be living that life. If this is clearly visualized in your head, it can truly be realized. Your whole life changes. So in your head, rather thinking about the life you are living now, your goals, and the life that you want should continuously be playing in your head. It must be clearly visualized. I currently drive a Mercedes. When I was a salaried worker, I owned a Sonata. When I had that Sonata, the car that I visualized in my head was a Mercedes. One day, I really wanted to see the car. It was like missing my first love. I couldn't go to sleep. It was past midnight and I got up. I went to the dealership and looked in the window. I put the clear picture of the car in my head and went to sleep, completely satisfied. One day, I shut the door of my Mercedes. Now, the door of a Sonata goes thud when you shut it, but a Mercedes goes swoosh. They make different sounds. So when I shut the door of my Mercedes one day and it went thud, I had thought that I was driving a Mercedes, but I was still driving my Sonata then. I was living in my dream. We have a company motto here at Atomy: cherish the spirit, create the vision, follow the faith, serve in humility. We create the vision by creating images of the life we want to live. So we've created the vision of the life that we want to lead, right? We then follow the faith by not following the way as it is, but following the life we have envisioned. We have to follow the life we have dreamt and envisioned. I hope that everyone here will clearly visualize the life that you want. Cherish the spirit and life of each and every person, including your family and friends whom you love, and be the successful person you want to be for them. Stand firm in the vision of yourself, living a beautiful, balanced life, serving humility, and don't be afraid to be looked down on by people around you. You shouldn't be afraid of that. I hope that you hold on to your vision and realize your successful and balanced life. That's the end of this lecture. Thank you.